This is community shops.
Coming out of the new shops because we've been to the garden and done what we had today.
Aye.
And now we're going to go down Castlemilk Drive. And we'll head towards Machrie.
There's a wee community. I don't know if I think the community centre is still.
Aye, I think it's past it, it's still going.
Aye. And that there, people standing outside, you can see on my left, that's the library.
Used to be a side door to get into the library.
I know, and my ma used to drop us off there.
For the drunks.
I know, I didn't want to turn the camera in because there's people there.
It used to be a side door to get into there.
And she used to drop us off, and then we'd all sit in a wee circle and the librarian would tell us stories and all that. It was magic, I loved it. But looking back, she just probably shoved us in there so she can go and do a shopping in peace. She's went, right, there you go.
This is a drive now.
Aye.
What a difference since they knocked all the houses down and built 1, 2, 3, 4 flights.
Aye, and then obviously these ones here. These are, I think they're still closes. Aye, they're really nice. I mean, right, they've done the closes here. I mean, they're really, really nice.
So I'm going to turn right now up Machrie.
And James stayed just down the houses there. Oh! This is turned into Machrie. Even that's all changed.
You remember that bit there, John? That's where your house used to be.
Aye.
And just at this wee bit here, where I'm going to park. Just here, this is where the van used to sit, Alec.
That's right.
And there was a path going down there that's still, hold on, I'll reverse a wee bit because the path's still
Aye,
there.
the path's still there. And it's there. No, got it in. There you go, path's still there. Taking you down to Cassie Drive. Right, that's there.
You want to take a wee walk down? I'll just drive down here and drive down.
Drive down here and drive down.
So this is us in Machrie. A lot of people will remember the shops that used to be here.
I know.
Used to be a lot of shops here. News agents, Graves. Everybody will remember Saunders. The wee shop at the end beside the chemist. Then there was the bookies, which became the chip shop. When there was the bookies, my dad used to have me running up and put that line on. Let's get 10 minutes and I'd have to run up for the house up to the bookies, which was just here to my right. And I would be running up the fields then asking guys, going to put a line on for us, going to put a line on for us. Let's get 10 minutes. And my dad and Johnny Miller, they'd be sitting in the back garden waiting for me to come down with the line. And that used to be Braeside School.
I know.
Just to the left there that Susan's going to video. It's all houses now. That used to be Braeside School. And the pitches and all that were there that we used to go and play football.
Machrie Drive.
Yeah, this used to be a horseshoe. I don't know if it's just a straight down the street back up.
No, it's well, it's run. You can get down.
Can you
get
down
right
and run?
in. Aye.
I'll go down and run then.
So yes, it's perhaps used to deliver the messages here.
Aye.
These ones were alright.
Stayed here. Him and Linda. I remember going to a party in his house. I don't know if I was him and leave or if it was what. I think
you were out. I think you were out.
Was
Because
it?
I was with you. And you chucked me when you were in the army.
Oh, okay. You were always getting chucked.
Chucked
Susan
again.
chucked again.
It's like a wee chip poke.
So this is Machrie. I can't remember what you called this bit.
I don't know, mate.
This was this little horseshoe.
Oh.
Susan says, aye, you can go out. Aye. That's the benefit of driving. Aye, well obviously she didn't drive in here because you can't get out.
I did, but I obviously forgot it.
Somebody looking at me going, oh, they're the tourists in the van most again.
Charlie, you can't get out here.
Can you know?
No, you've got to get in.
We're in a hurry, we'll just go back round the other way then. Come to Manus, Manus. What's Manus' name? Manus McManus. Jim Gallagher. Manus Boyle. Yes, aye. Sorry for shouting that.
I was going to say that. It's even 1 year now.
Guys I went to school with, they stayed in this bit here. I think they have moved to Ireland, if my memory corrects me right. And then you had the Grahams. There was a row of houses here. John Graham, I went to school with him.
See, I don't know any. Well, I know people for this end, but I didn't hang about this end because I stayed in a good bit. Crescent. There's the Geely Peace Club out there.
I'm sure this is where Peter Simpson came from.
There's the old house.
Aye, Castlemilk
The old
house.
home.
Let's see if I can get in there. James had a house here when he first got married.
Aye.
He stayed here.
That's it.
The Geely Peace Club.
Aye.
And obviously down to my right there, down here, that's the bridge.
Aye.
I'll tell you a story about the bridge. That's where we used to fight with the Tay. We were known as the YMF, or the Young Machrie Fleet. And we used to fight with the Tay on that bridge. And wee Murray, John Moore, offered a guy a square go. When you had a square go, you went into the middle of the bridge and you had your square go in there. And I can't remember if it was a guy called Sproul or what, that name sort of rings a bell, but I could be wrong with the name. But wee Murray, he was a gallus wee ticket. He offered the guy the square go. And he says to the guy, right, no blades. And the guy pulled a big hatchet out and stuck it in a tree. And we're all like, wow. And so obviously the two of them met in the middle for the square go. And wee Murray had his dukes up, ready to go ahead with the guy. And the guy just picked him up and flung him right out of the bridge. Flung him out of the bridge. And he landed on the other side. He was lucky that he landed on the grass, because another 3 feet he was hitting the water, and the water was all bricks and boulders. But he landed on the grass, and I think he broke his arm. And when the guy flung Murray out of the bridge, he just walked there casual as you want and took the hatchet out the tree and put it back in his trousers. And we were all stoning. We ended up all throwing bricks at one another. But we got wee Murray and we got him, somebody ended up taking him down the house. He stayed across the road for the coal. Took him down there, but the next time we seen him, he had a big stookie on. So the guy just flung him right out of the bridge. So that's the story of the fleet in the Tay, many years ago. And the old home used to be here, Castlemilk House.
That's it there.
No, that's part of it. It was that like a castle.
Aye, but they knocked it down and built that.
No, but the place that they knocked down is the place I'm talking about, Castlemilk House. Didn't knock it down and build it, so they will call this Castlemilk House.
No, that's what it is there. That building there. That's what it was.
No, it was down here. It was an old home. It was the Laird of Castlemilk that owned it, and it was end up took in orphans. No, the orphans used to be in the house, and my mum used to say to me, "Going up and play with the wains," and me and James used to come up, and we would play with the orphans. Sadly, we didn't get to know them, because when you came back up again, they'd be away. Somebody would have adopted them, or they would have been into care somewhere. But we used to come up and they had swings and all that stuff to play. So we'd play with the wains up here and go in the pond with a wee net on the bamboo stick and catching wee turtlers and all that. Wee red breasts, I can't remember what we used to call them. But and that's what we did. And then the note, Castlemilk House it's just a ruin now. It's just behind the Jelly Peace Club. It's just an old ruin now. It's no, I couldn't say it's a ruin. I think they just kept a couple of bricks just to prove that it was there. And that's at the pond. And that if my memory hang me, that was the stables in there for Castlemilk House, which they rejigged and revamped, and it's now sort of a museum.
I think it's a nursery and all that.
It's a nursery museum.
I think there's companies in it and all that.
It's a community place now.
Because I did deliver shopping there once.
Yeah, but I'm sure that was the stables to Castlemilk House, which they knocked down.
You could be right.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I didn't come for this part, so...
Yeah. There you go.
Just get my tuppence worth in.
Yeah. And you daren't, when I was 14 to 16 or 17, before I joined up, you daren't go across that bridge at night, coming from here, coming from Machrie, across to Ballintay. You daren't do it. And they were the same, they didn't do it. Because there was always somebody saw them. If the tea came across that bridge and came into Machrie, the jungle drums would beat, and before you know it, there was a gang here, gang fights, chasing them all back across, and vice versa. If you went across there, the jungle drums would beat. Before you even got to the other end, there was a team waiting for you. The tea. So
and the madness of it all, you all went to the same schools?
No, well, I and no. The boys in the tea that went to Maggie's, you sort of stayed. You didn't touch them at school. It was only when
that's what I'm saying.
It was only here that you went mental.
So Maggie's in Glenwood just to fight, and yet all my pals came from Maggie's.
Aye.
Know what I mean?
But
I did have pals in Glenwood, but
it was a sort of a known. During school, there was a truce. and at 4 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, that was the truce over. Every man for himself. So, we'll head now. I'll take you up to where the Labour Club used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it burnt down. And I stood on the pitches behind the Labour Club and stood and watched it burn down. And the fire engines all came, and they were putting it out. And I just sat there watching it burn. And then when the fire brigade were finished, they went away, and I went into the building. It was still smouldering, still smoke. I went away into the building, and I picked up a wee knife that I found. It was just lying there, a wee knife, and to this day I've still got it. So I got it for the Labour Club. Once it burnt down. My mum used to work in there when it was the pub. She would do back shifts and all that. And she always got us a chinky for the Wood Ping. It used to sit beside Rogers. That was right on the corner beside the wee R.S. McCall kiosk. A lot of you will remember this. The wee kiosk with the water in it. Then you'd Rogers. I can't remember if it was a hairdressing place, and then it was the Wood Ping. Well, believe it or not, the Wood Ping's still there, but it's the opposite side of where it used to be, beside the bookies. It's round that side, and then you walk past the bookies and up, and you've got the Oasis pub. Because Castlemilk was a dry area. There was only 3 pubs in Castlemilk, and you think Castlemilk. It was one of the biggest housing schemes in Europe, and there was only 3 pubs in it. There was the Labour Club, Bennigan's and the Oasis. And yet if you went down to Rutherglen, where a lot of boys for Castlemilk used to drink, because there was more variety, there was more pubs. Like between the main street itself, it started off with Chapman's, which is still there. And you'd 1, 2, 3, 4, then you'd Bruns, the off sales, 5, 6, 7, I'm counting the Glencairn. That was a club, but that was 7. 8. There was about 8 pubs just in the main street in Rutherglen, and yet Castlemilk itself had 3.
But that was only
Because Castlemilk and drink didn't mix.
the Labour Club, right up. I'm going to say
80s.
84, 85.
80s.
Because it was after you got out the army. I think the Oasis opened. I don't think it was open before you got out. You got out in 82, 83.
No, it was still there. My mum worked in it.
No, the Labour Club was the Oasis, wasn't it?
No, the
That's what I'm
Oasis.
saying.
No,
The first pub,
Yeah.
I think, was about 83, 84
aye,
before it opened. I don't think it was open when Mama was alive.
no,
And she died in 82,
no.
so...
It was opened when I got out the army.
Might have been 83 then.
When the hell on 79, 81, 84. I'd say about 84.
84, aye. I remember.
And I remember when it first opened, there was a big like a campaign, the Oasis. They called it the Oasis because it was a water hole in the
dry area,
sands in
aye.
a dry area. It was so they called it the Oasis to wet your whistle. And the first
It was
day,
lovely when it opened up. It was beautiful. It done it up
had all
lovely.
the mod cons when it first opened up. And I remember they had cast iron chairs and tables and sort of a wee lounge. They weren't in the bar, they were in the lounge. And the day it opened, they made the mistake, they didn't bolt them down. And there was guys taking them out the fire exit. They were getting away with chairs and tables, and it was just getting more and more and more. And then obviously there was a big kick out about it. All the stuff getting knocked. And you used to drive about Castlemilk and you'd see the cast iron tables and chairs in people's gardens. In their gardens for the Oasis. Aye, so the Oasis learnt then, keep that fire door shut and bolt the tables and chairs to the ground.
In December 1986, I think, was our busiest period when with that really bad snow, we were all snowed in, and everybody. So all the guys all elected to go to the shops for the women. No, we'll go.
Aye, we'll go to shops.
But what was happening was they were all sitting in a pub, and one was waiting in the queue, and then they'd come out and just give each other a turn of waiting in the queue.
Aye.
At the shops to get bread and milk. The rest of the time they were in the pub. Because it wouldn't have happened before that. I bet it was in 1986. I know it was definitely open then.
Aye, because I think I came in bloated with
You did, with my milk and Mary McGinley's fags.
aye, bread.
Number 6.
Those were the days,
Yes.
by the way. Yeah, so we're up at the Jerry Peace Club now. I'll take you up and show you where the Labour Club used to be. Then we'll go back down the drive. So thanks for watching. I hope that wee story cheered some of you up anyway.